Matt here with Keeping It YYC. Today we're joined by Emma Rushton of Rockit Vocal Studios. How are you today, Emma?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for having me today.
It's my pleasure. We'll get right into it and we'll have you tell us a little bit about Rockit Vocal Studios.
So, Rockit, I always feel silly saying this, Rockit launched in around 2013. And that's, sorry, I'm not trying to be punny, it just is a fact. So yeah, 2013 in Calgary, and it's I started off thinking, because I grew up in London, I went to music school and started teaching back in London, came over here, I was working in radio in Calgary for a little while. So I was with XL 103 and AMP 90.3 for a while there working in marketing, and got back into the music and the singing and thought, oh, I'll just do it as a side thing, see if anyone's interested. And within about 2 weeks, my evenings were full. So I was like, oh, well, maybe this could be the job. So started the studio and have been working with singers of all ages, levels, musical styles ever since. And it's just it's so much fun. So yeah, that's basically my business in a nutshell. I've started branching out a little though to work with speakers and coaches and people. And really interestingly, actually during COVID, I've had a lot of people reach out to me who are professionals who are now speaking face to face on Zoom continuously all day, and their voices are getting shot. So it's like a lot of interesting industries that I wouldn't normally be interacting with, like therapists and other kinds of coaches are like, help me, by the end of the day I can't even speak. So I've been working with other people in different industries too.
Well, so branching out, how are you helping them? What in particular would you help a therapist with, for example?
So, for example, when they're not teaching, when they're working with clients all day, they're speaking and using their voices. So their voice is getting really tired by the end of the day because they haven't we take it for granted essentially how to use our voices properly, and some people will, when you get more animated or more emotional about something, your larynx and all of your placement can shift, so you can start to use muscles more so than you actually need to. So doing just a really basic warm-up in the morning is going to help you maintain stamina throughout your entire day. So there's a few really simple tips. So you might actually experience it if you're interviewing people all throughout the day. By the end of it, you might be like, oh, okay, my voice is feeling kind of tired and I'm not sure why. But yeah, if you're warm-ups aren't just for singers.
Well, I guess we do take it for granted. I've never thought about it in that manner before. I guess I've never had a position where I've been talking all day, or there's been few and far between, so I wouldn't have thought about it very much. But for
Right.
some of these professions, yeah,
Tiresome.
that's eye-opening. That's really cool. So it's not
Yeah.
just for musicians.
Not at all, not at all. And of course, actors, or I remember one time I went to the axe throwing place in Calgary and
Mhm.
I felt so bad for the staff there because they're screaming their lungs out trying to communicate to you how to do this, and or taking orders, or people, bar staff, people who work in the bar industry or restaurants, they're using their voices in a really aggressive way for really long shifts, and it can really help. Just doing a simple warm up before your shift will change everything and stop damage and stop anything nasty happening down the road too.
Absolutely. So my next question is, what are you doing to adapt in this current environment?
It's been really fascinating. I always wanted to start offering online courses and just sort of the pre-packaged, you can go online and do it in your own time, uh, and start doing that. And finally, I had the time to do it. But I'm really learning that it's actually the community and the teaching one-to-one and the interaction that is what people really, really want. But it's still something that you can do online. So the independent learning online for something like singing is, there isn't, to me, there doesn't seem to be a huge demand for it, but the actual one-on-one learning online has really taken off. and people are able to practice in their own homes. They don't have to drive all over the place. They can, you know, if they have space where they feel comfortable, they can sing their faces off and, you know, just really dig into stuff. So just basically switching over to this sort of online Zoom and Skype platform where you're learning exactly the same stuff, but it's just in the comfort of your own home. So it's been an interesting transition. Some people are a little bit timid to be singing at home in case husbands or kids or their big brother or whatever is listening, but there's so many techniques. I actually just posted on Instagram a little warm up and a vocal workout that you can do that just basically doesn't make very much noise at all. So you can really start using your voice and working your instrument without bugging your neighbors, basically.
Wow, that's awesome. So are you doing in person and online, or just online at the moment?
Just online at the moment. I've been keeping really close eye on what the industry and health, all of that kind of stuff, and singing, as most of us know right now, is considered a high risk activity. So sticking to online for now, but the results, it's been so cool. I've had students who just like will turn around and start playing guitar, and I'm like, I didn't even know you played guitar. I'm just like, oh well, I never even brought it to the studio. Or start playing piano, and it's like all these doors are opening for people too, because they are able to just start playing their instruments and singing and stuff too. So it's really fun.
That's awesome. And there might even be some people that wouldn't have been interested in coming to an in-person. Maybe it's open the door to
Yeah.
Just to get a taste of some
exactly.
pretty low commitment.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the way that I run the studio too. Coming from the UK, the kind of sign up system is very different over there. So it's more of a drop-in thing, or over here a lot of music schools are you sign up and commit to like a year or 6 months or something. So I wanted to make sure that anyone who just wants to come and just try, because so many people are like, oh, I can't do it, or I sound terrible, or I'm tone deaf, or what have you, and they put it off because it's like, well, what if my first lesson is a complete bust and then I'm committed to however long? So I'm just like, no, just come try it, drop in, do whatever works for you. So
that's brilliant.
Yay.
Brilliant, as they say in the UK.
Brilliant.
So what can people do right now to support our local businesses in general?
I think a big thing is help to raise awareness of other businesses that you really love. Especially, I'm in a kind of a lucky position that I can provide coaching. I don't have bricks and mortar, and I don't rely on having to sell certain meals a day or products and stuff. So the businesses that do have, that really depend on that one-on-one interaction and that in-person kind of sales, just really share positive experiences of businesses that could really use the help, and leave great reviews and talk about them to your friends. And you know, instead of going to Amazon, just have a quick, you know, give yourself 5 minutes to look online on what's available in Calgary before you go there, and just, you know, explore what's in your neighborhood, because there's so much amazing stuff here.
I agree 100%, and use your networks to find some local gems. Exactly. There's a lot of stuff. We have pretty much everything in Calgary, and people don't realize it. My eyes have been open to a lot of options here that I've never thought that we'd have locally, and some very interesting stuff. Just, it's really cool to get that personal experience. So 100% agree with the awareness. That's what we're trying to do, obviously.
Yeah, and it has a really big knock-on effect too. A lot of the people who own businesses in Calgary live in Calgary. So you're helping to really build the community as a whole. You're not just keeping a business alive, you're helping someone, you know, keep their home and their family and everything in a positive way.
Yeah, it stays in Calgary.
Yeah, yeah.
Circulating around, doesn't it?
Exactly.
So are there any tips and tricks you can share in relation to your expertise?
So a super simple one. Let me see here. And 1 second. This is super simple, and absolutely everyone can do this, and you don't even have to have very good ear. And if people say they're tone deaf, there's only, I believe it was 4% of the human population is actually tone deaf.
Oh, not
so if you think you're tone deaf, it's just a matter of you need to practice. So a really good exercise is with a straw, and you can just hum through the straw and just like, so for example, like happy birthday, you'd be like, and it opens everything in your vocal tract and relaxes all the muscles and the vocal cords and everything. So if you were to sing happy birthday through the straw like 2 or 3 times, it's going to warm up your voice really nicely and without any external pressure or pinching or anything on your voice that's going to cause any issues. But if anything, it's going to just open stuff up and get you ready for a full day. And even if you're a singer, you could go along with a song that you're working on or a song you want to be able to sing, just sing it through the straw, making sure there's lots of air coming out, and it will warm you up and get your muscle memory all in line and ready to sing.
So just hum it through the straw.
Hum it through the straw. And if you're a total nerd, it's semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. That's exactly what the science is.
What?
Semi-occluded vocal tract.
Semi-occluded vocal tract exercises.
Yes.
Okay.
Or SOVT.
Yeah, I'll definitely remember that.
Oh, there you go. Totally. Just sing happy birthday through a straw. That's all you need to know.
Okay, that's great advice. That's easy. Anybody can do that.
It's really, really simple. Anyone can do it. And just if you were to do some stuff through a straw for 5 minutes or so, it will warm you up really nicely. Like if you do work in a bar, or if you are a therapist or someone who's using your voice a lot but not necessarily to perform, it's a really good way to get the voice ready for the day.
You can do that more incognito too. You don't have
Totally.
to super loud, yeah.
Totally. Like I recommend it to any of the artists who I work with, like in between sets or whatever, if they're at a bar gig or whatever, just do it sitting at the bar. No one knows you're doing anything weird. Yeah, sort of.
It's okay to be weird. It's fine.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. So appreciate you taking the time to join us, Emma. That's all the questions I did.
Me.
Yes, our pleasure. So we do ask that you end the interview by stating your name and your business name, and just asking everybody watching to keep it local and keep it YYC.
Okie dokie. So my name's Emma Rushton of Rockit Vocal Studios, and I invite you to keep it local and keep it YYC.